Welcome to Tail and Prince Golf Podcast, your number one source for all things golf and gambling. And now, your host, Granj and Finn.
Welcome back, folks. Another episode of Tail and Print Weekly Golf Betting and DFS Podcast here in Southern Florida. It is your boy Granj here to chat about the Wells Fargo Championship up in the Charlotte area. Only 2 weeks away from another major. That's correct. The tour will be at Kiowa for the PGA Championship in just a fortnight's time. In the meantime, we have more winners to give you and more things to dial up. Joined on the other end of this microphone is my man Finn in upstate NY. What's going on, brother? How are you living?
I'm living pretty well. Not a bad week last week. I think I finished minus half a unit on the week. Poulter was one shot away from getting me in the money, at least with the T20. I think he finished like top 28, tied for 28. But golf had a round. We'll get to that in the tails, of course. But all in all, I know it wasn't like a nail biter of a weekend, but it was a really entertaining day to watch, even though it wasn't that close. Because Sam Burns, congrats to him. I guess we should be talking about that now. He's on that wave of young guys that I don't know. Golf is a lot of what have you done for me lately. So it's very quickly to put him in the Morikawa and say, oh, he's out. I wouldn't say he's in the Hovland Morikawa range yet. I think he's in the Matt Wolff range. I think he's leapfrog Matt Wolff, especially because it's what have you done for me lately? Matt Wolff hasn't done shit for anybody lately, except show up, withdraw to collect his check and get the hell out of there, which I respect the shit out of. But when it comes to putting money in the pockets, he's not doing anything. So I think he's knocking on that door, and you can contest it like this part, knowing guys who are trying to grind it out on the mini tours and everything. Getting a win in your back pocket does so much for your confidence. That guy's in the Masters next year. Yeah, he's got his tour card. It's fun because he's got the tools, and I just wish he had more of a deep Southern Louisiana how'd you do there, Sam Burns? Well, I did good out there today. Gonna go have me some crawfish or something like that. Like that, like a Forrest Gump. That would have been too good. But congrats to Sam Burns, Keegan Bradley. Keegan Bradley. I don't know what else to say.
He can't putt. I mean, Sam Burns, you mentioned, he was close. He sniffed around the winner's circle a few times. You know, he kind of faltered there at the Genesis to Homa. Mm-hmm. I was selfishly hoping Homa was going to prick him again. Awesome Saturday round for Max. Made a bomb of the putt in the 18th. I went to the tournament Sunday. I had Homa at 75-1. I was like, this is beautiful. Let's make this happen. Perfect world. Homa birdies the first hole. I had the Mick Ultra Seltzers going in heavy effect Sunday, so I was not super in tune to what was going on. The golf course was kind of wandering around. A few boys that are connected with the golf industry here in Florida. We were following some groups around. One of the guys we were with is boys with Kokrak and Perez, so we were kind of following them around a little bit. And then, it looked like, it was basically just Burns versus Keegan the whole way. Keegan dumped one in the water on, 12, and Burns kind of coasted home from there. I think
8 iron.
Yeah, and I mean, Keegan on Saturday, he played way better than Burns and everybody really. He just can't putt, man. He didn't putt terribly, but he just didn't putt well. He leaves putt short. The stroke just seems awkward. So
do you know who did not? Do you know who did not putt well last week? But
JT. JT lost 7 strokes putting.
Hit the ball better than if he could have putt half as just mixed it up, because he putt that's some of the worst putting he's ever done. If he just putt half as bad, he would have ran away with this thing.
Brush shoulders with his pops. When we walked in there, JT was cleaning up, I think, on the 3rd or 4th hole. We were walking around the green to go somewhere else, and I was walking with my buddy. He was just like, literally just brush shoulders. He's like, that's JT's pops right there. It was pretty cool. So, I mean, when JT putts, he wins. When he doesn't putt like that, he's still, top 10, top 20 machine. Yeah. Course was awesome. It played super easy. The conditions were perfect. A lot more birdies out there than I imagined. I almost had your Christmas dreams come true. I cannot believe this. I really cannot. I saw Sung Jae, that beautiful, beautiful man on 17.
Is he more handsome in real life?
Oh, he's just glowing. He just, you wouldn't be able to contain yourself if you saw him. But anyways, we're chilling. We're taking a little break to get some drinks. And Sung Jae's walking off the 18th green. I'm watching him walk away. I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. Turn around. go to order a drink, turn back around. One of the guys I'm with has a golf ball in his hands. I shit you not. I sent you a photo. Sung Jae threw a few golf balls to some kids, and he had one left, and he threw it to this guy I'm with who's 35, 40 years old, and just did not look like someone who would be getting a golf ball. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I tried to get you the golf ball. Money was offered. Rounds of golf were offered, but apparently he's a fan of the Big Panda as well. So the golf ball stayed with him. But now you do know how Sung Jae marks his golf balls. So I know you've already been hard at work in the lab, and that's going to be
I have been hard at work at the lab, getting all my golf balls exactly like Mr. M. But it's okay, because don't worry, when Baby Finn's coming, he's a godfather. We'll make up for it. All right, it's okay. He doesn't know yet, so surprise. Hopefully he hears it this week. But one thing I saw while I was watching on Sunday, guess how many? Now, hole outs count if it comes off the fringe. If it's hole out, you have to keep in mind if it's just off the green. I don't know if you saw this. You probably didn't, because you weren't watching it on TV because you were at the tournament. So how many hole outs through the first 3 rounds do you think we had this year at the Valspar?
I'm going to guess it was a lot. There was a few people that made, like Keegan Bradley made a deuce on number 9, a huge, like 150 for Eagle. Homa did one on Saturday. I'm going to guess there were 13.
91.
What?
91 hole outs through 3 rounds at the Valspar.
Wow.
That was 2018, 77. Now, again, it is skewed because at first I was like,
fringe counts.
Fringe counts, that. And then sand, like anything, if it's just not on the green, that counts as a whole out. So it is a bit, it's not
high.
The second highest was 14 less. And then but after that, if you go the 5th highest, that's 56. It's almost half of it. Like that, it was playing a lot easier. It's usually played at a different time of year if they play that course, I believe. So that probably took into effect. But I just feel like Sam Burns, though, I think this is a good one because I don't know necessarily. I think he did win it. There's no doubting that. Sure. But no one else, I feel like everyone else lost it too. Like they kind of just gave it to him. Like it wasn't. He went out. He played well.
Essentially, it was a 3-man race on Sunday, and I don't know if you watched the end of the broadcast Saturday. He and Keegan both put it in the bunker on 18. He had a fried egg, and Keegan did not. Hits his third shot way over the green. Is like 60 feet to 2-putt for bogey, or else he would have been out of the final group, and Homa would have been in. Huge downhill putt. He hits it 10 feet by. He's got a 10-footer coming back up the hill. If not, it's a double bogey. He's not in the last group, and he probably doesn't win. Cans the putt, stays tied with Keegan. One clear Homa's in the last group, and he did his thing Sunday. The other 2 didn't, and he was on the right side of the last 18 break, where there had been, I could think of 2-3 really good chances he had to win over the last year. None of them went his way. So good for him. Like you said, in the Masters, in the Tournament of Champions, it's a big deal for him. The point should get him at least to the second round of the playoffs, if not the third. So shout out to him.
Also, top 50 now. He's top 50 in the world.
Top 50 in the world. That's another big deal.
5th guy under 25.
Wow. And that gets you into the WGCs when they classify those. So big win for him and big win for live sports, man. I enjoyed just being out there, on the golf course. It'd been a while and had a hell of a time. It was just cool to be there. So hopefully more of those to come in the near future. With that, I'll kick it to you for Tales from the Course. I didn't play last week. I actually did sign up to join a country club, though. So I'll get into that a little bit more next week. Yeah, I got the last one without an initiation. So that's my Tales from the Course. I'm very excited to be back in the private golf world. But how about you? How was it out there actually swinging the club?
It was phenomenal. I shot it was kind of like a post-round disappointing 80 on Sunday morning. It was because I was 4 over after 2 holes and finished 8 over after that one. I couldn't not par. It seemed like I mixed in a couple birdies and a couple bogeys after that, but the bogeys were still. I could not putt until like the 8th hole. I did not have I think I had 1 putt between the first and the 8th hole, and then after that, lights out with the putter. And then my chipping game is unbelievable right now. I figured out my pre-shot routine. I got it. It's set. Now my putter, I did switch over to a spider though, so it did take me a minute, and that is. But you know what it was is I was getting really pissed off. I wasn't hitting putts. But remember how I told you that I knew like the putts I had at the beginning of the season, they were just coming up short, but eventually they're going to start rolling through. they're starting to roll through. That's all it was. I kept getting mad that I was leaving everything short the whole year. Now that everything's dried up, everything's rolled out, everything's grown in properly. We're into May. It's rolling
you just
buttery
need the
right now.
groundskeepers to manicure their greens right. They're obviously going to roll in. That's
exactly.
That's
so
awesome. When you're making putts,
now.
when you're making putts, it feels like you never knew how you missed them to begin with. But that's a hell of a score. It's a good start to the season in the Northeast for you. Well done on you. I'll be out there Thursday actually playing the course that I'm joining with an existing member. So pretty stoked about that. This track's got 36 holes up at East Lake Woodlands Country Club. So next time you're in the area, sir, would love you to be my guest out on the links. One's 118 holes is like target golf, kind of along different, canals and bays, and the other 18 is a bit more open, which is nice for the wife, so you can learn a little bit more without struggling too much and hating golf. 2 ranges, one full one short one. Got a couple different cross bay courses I can play under that membership. So all is well. I'm very excited for that. And yeah, public golf is behind me, at least for a little bit. It needed to happen. But that's it for Tales from the Course. Talk about Dimers. Dimers, they did pretty well last week. I saw a lot of their, I think they had Burns pegged for a top 10 or a top 20. I'm not sure who our boy Ryan was on, but make sure you guys head over to our presenting sponsor. He was on JT. Make sure you head over to Dimers, our presenting sponsor. Everything you need as far as odds go, as far as pricing out your bets, finding the best books. They have all the other sports covered as well for articles, podcasts. Not even ours. They're affiliated with some for the NBA, the NFL. You can find the best numbers for futures, everything you need really, and. Our show's own Truly Finn is starting to do a little bit of writing work for them as well. So if you want to go see the chicken scratch that he puts out there to the world, that's the place to live and breathe, and also play in the Sweet Six contest for your chance to win up to $1,000 in free money prizes. Everyone loves free money, right?
I love free money. Dogecoin's been free money, and I want even more free money to get even more Dogecoins right now. So yeah, that's my story. Go to Dimers. And also, sorry, I say this every week. People, please do it. Their NBA is honestly unbelievable how good they are with their NBA picks. Get the hell over there. Like, I haven't dabbled in baseball yet. I usually maybe pick up. That's like a June, like a July, August kind of thing when it heats up. Definitely in October. So, but that's just more. I kind of dabble in that later on. Hockey's usually playoff time. Betting. If you've ever never bet playoff hockey, you got to do it, my friend. It's awesome. But NBA, they crush it. Get over to the Dimers. I'm telling you, they crush it on NBA. We crush it on golf. They crushed it on golf last week as well. They got us Homa. I know I had him. Cameron Chingali, top 10. They were all over him. That was plus 450. Folks, you got to go. They help make me money. So just dimers.com.
You got to give me a hockey team, sir. 2 of the last 3 years, I hit the winner just betting a team to win the Stanley Cup. Not knowing much about hockey, I bet him about this time of the year. And last year I lost, and I had Dallas, who lost out to Tampa. So
I'm a free agent for NHL, and I always just 100%. Pick a new team every year. Yeah, I'm a free agent. I'm not even going to act like I'm a real fan. I tell everyone too. They go, "Oh, you're a bandwagon." I'm like, "Yes, I am," and I'm going to be a different fan next year. Like I was a Vegas fan the other year. That was fun.
Whatever, what you root for your pocket. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Exactly.
That's how you should be. So, yeah,
Amen.
Dimers, great place to live and breathe. We appreciate the sponsorship and the partnership with them. So, with that, let's turn the page. Course breakdown of the Wells Fargo Championship, Quail Hollow Golf Course. It's a pretty one. The site of the 2017 PGA Championship, won by Justin Thomas. Site of the President's Cup next year, and site of the PGA Championship again in 2025. Par 71, a mile, 7,521 yards in Charlotte, North Carolina. What tidbits do you have for the listeners, sir?
This one, I played it on PGA 2K a few times. It's tight. It is, you got to be accurate. It's long, bunkers. The greens are, that is going to be this kind of reminds me a lot of maybe Riviera Genesis, where it's kind of a classic looking course. Wind comes into factor as well on this one. I believe I think this is my Bob Ross. This is my guy, Donald Ross. Is this Donnie Ross?
George Cobb, redesigned by Tom Fazio in 2017 for the PGA Championship.
We're going to a Don Ross. mixed up. I was listening to the PGA radio, and right when you
Kiowa.
said that out loud, I was Kiowa. That's
Yeah.
why I had in my head. But
Don
this one,
Bobby he's owner of that one.
this one though reminds me a lot of Riviera, the way it's set up. Just kind of like it's your general layout, like kind of how an old links golf course kind of looks like, with the sand gets in the way. You got to be accurate with your shots. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to this week. Is you have to have a well-placed shot. You have to make sure you're in good position to hit the spots on the green, because if you miss, you're going to get into bunkers, or you're going to get into the wrong plateau, and then it's lights out from there. Just you have to be spot on, or else a 2-putt can turn into a 4-putt, or a par can turn into a double bogey very quickly on this one. But it's a really pretty course. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Water does come into play. I think on number 18, it's lined up the entire way. It is. There's a little creek that lines up the entire way going up to the clubhouse on 18, which that I love that, because it's not that much of a creek, but you know that it is in every single person's head. It's probably about 4 feet wide, maybe, just going up the whole side of the fairway. But it's going to be, and if you go left, you're fine. But that spot, it's like the perfect line. So 18, I love that hole. It's just got that creek is like so perfect for a golf hole, because it's wide open, it's simple, but just that little line where if it was one of those like closest to the water, if that was like the line for like straightest drive, you would miss it by 10 miles. But because it's water, magnet. But beautiful course. It's going to be challenging, but I love it.
Yeah,
like you said, it's long. It's long.
They call it the finishing stretch of holes, the Green Mile, the last 3 holes. It's no joke. JT won it, like I said, the PGA in 2017 at 8 under. That's when Matsuyama and Kisner kind of collapsed on Sunday, and he kind of took snatched victory from them, and Ustu's in, Reed was in it as well. So that was JT's first and only major. Last year, there was no tournament due to COVID. Max Homa took it home in 2019 for his first victory at 15 under par. Jason Day in 2018 at 12 under. Brian Harmon the year prior at 6 under. James Hahn did it at 5 under. And Rory set the course record both for a round and a tournament in 2015, where he shot 61 on Friday, and he shot 267 for the tournament, 17 under. So I expect the winners this week. I guess I expected it, a little bit higher scoring last week, but the conditions were perfect. Haven't looked at the forecast quite yet. Dimers does have that on their bet hub. Looks like rain Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So if it plays gnarly like this, expect the winning score to be in the high single digits, low teens, which I always enjoy. I'm not always one for a birdie fest every single week. We get enough of them, but man, this should be good. Field is solid. We have a lot of top players in the field at the top of the board. You got Rahm, JT at 11-1, Bryson at 15, Rory 17, Hovland 19, Xander 19. Then you got Simpson, Cantley, Finau, Willie Z. So a lot of good players in the field this week. Lots of these guys, this will be their last tune-up before the PGA at Kiowa. Some other guys will choose to play next week instead at the Byron Nelson in Texas. Matsuyama still, man, must be on a month-long bender just printing money and signing sponsorship deals in Japan, because we have not seen or heard from the man in a month. Good for him. That's really it for the course breakdown in the field. As far as DFS goes, sir, tip of the cap to you. Back on the right side of things. You took it home last week.
Finally.
I know. I was starting to get worried that I might have to throw a contest, because we were at 9. Yeah, 9-6 with one tie for the year. So we're still
6-9. Come on, you had the good opportunity to say 6-9, and you
good guys first, man. Good guys first, always 9-6.
All right, I'll be that scum frat guy. All right,
6-9. 6-9. I have my cut maker. That's why you don't pick guys that believe in QAnon. Scott Piercy not only missed the cut, almost finished DFL. So he breaks my streak of 7 straight cut makers under 7K. Still 8-5 on the season, which isn't bad. My cut maker for this week, before we go through the DFS board, I'm just going to go right to him. I watched him play a good amount of Sunday's round because he was paired with Jason Kokrak, and that's Vaughn Taylor. Kind of a boring guy, does not hit it far at all. I mean, we could keep up with him off the tee, but man, his irons were clicking. The putter was working for him. I think old Vaughn finished T7, and this week at 6,800 on DraftKings. That's my pick for my sub 7K cut maker. Who do you have?
My sub 7K cut maker this week is going to be Luke List, 6,800. just kind of got the hunch on him. I think Dimers, they liked him too, if I remember correctly looking over. But running a few numbers and name just popped. So Luke List, 6,800. He's going to be in my lineup. So I'm going to ride with it.
I dig it. At the top of the board, like I mentioned, JT is 500 more than Rahm, even though Rahm is the betting favorite, which I thought was interesting. I think Rahm's a little cheap, actually, at 10.8 compared to Bryson at 11, JT at 11.3. So if you're going to start at the top, I'd go there. You have Xander 10.5, Webb 10.2, and then Rory at 10K. Obviously, his struggles of late don't need to be spelled out in this pod. We covered a lot, but he loves this track, man. He has such good course history here. Yeah, he won it, like I mentioned, in 2015, I believe. What else does he have? Let's see his course. It tied 8th last time, tied 16th, tied 4th. So, I mean, he's always right there. I really think this could be a good, kind of get right spot for Rory at 10K. So I kind of like starting lineups there. And below that, the 9K district is very strong as well. What do you like at the top of the board?
I got to follow you on the Rory thing, because eventually it's almost the same thing with Spieth. Like Rory, it's kind of weird saying he's almost getting to that Spieth territory. It's way early on to like even get to that spot. But someone who dominated as much as Rory did not have sniffed the winner's circle in as long as it's been. It is like starting to. He's going to correct it soon enough. The talent's still there. The game's still there. It's all going to come together. He's put good tournaments together. I feel like he just hasn't put 4 real good days together yet. So that's all it is. And he just had a kid too. So, I mean, let's give the man a little break. He's probably hasn't had too much sleep. He's had a lot on his mind the last year, especially, being pregnant during the height of COVID and everything. That could not have been a cakewalk. So I'm with you. You got to get on the train soon enough, because the odds are going to keep going up, and someone that good, it's good. It's the same as Brooks. As we get it's going to price itself out. And I'm with you. I think Rory's a good one. And then Xander, Dimers like Xander. So that's another. I think JT, I think almost for this one, maybe in another lineup, I'll take him, because I don't like the price too much for him for betting outright, but I need to get some action on him, because if he, like we said, if he figures out that putter, like just doesn't have the worst putting round like tournament he ever had, he could definitely sneak into the top 3, like even with an okay round, it seems like right now.
It really is crazy with him, and I always thought he was a decent putter, but when you really grill the stats, it is what holds him back. I mean, he lost 6.5 strokes to the field putting last week and still finished 13th. And if you look, I mean, this guy will come in third, like the tournament champions, he came in third and netted out even putting. I mean, the weeks that he putts, he wins. Even the players, he only gained 1.5 strokes and he won the tournament. St. Jude last year, he lost 2 strokes and won the tournament. So it's like the dude's irons are just really second to none. I mean, Morikawa is another one that comes to mind, but he hits the, shit out of the ball off the tee. His irons are dialed. So yeah, you never go wrong with some JT. The 9K range, I like Willie Z at 9,400. I also like Abe Answer just below 9K at 8,900. I watched him play last week. Sunday, I watched him and Neiman play a few holes. You want to talk about like small and smaller, dude. Answer's not taller than 5'5", and Neiman's like 160 pounds soaking wet, and they both just solid players, man. It's just so crazy the way some of these guys are built and how they can hit the golf ball. So
I know, if I can interrupt, sorry, you are a true golf fan, just because that group, the Neiman and that, if you love just golf, I would have followed those two, because those swings must have just been like just watching like every time.
I watched them play the second, third, and fourth holes, and like the guys I were with wanted to go see the people who they knew, but I legit am with you. I would have watched that group all day. They were third to last off the tee box, but
was it the sound? Like, because you know how sometimes like with baseball, like if you go for batting practice, you hear that there's nothing like it. If you've never gone to a batting practice at an MLB game, when they start to come back, go to it. There's nothing like the crack of the bat when in an empty stadium. Like listening to those guys, especially with not too many people, it's like the tees and everything. Was it just a different like?
Dude, those two sounded so much different than the rest. And there's another guy who I will find his way onto my betting card this week, who I got to see play a couple holes, and Russell Knox, believe it or not, he hit some shots. There was one where he was behind a tree and like it almost landed on my buddy's foot, and we got to watch his whole pre-shot routine. He played a draw around these trees, but he was hitting some iron shots that just sounded a bit different than anybody else too. And it's like kind of like our guest Ray just kind of ran through. Sometimes it's just feel. And And with that, I mean, he's going to find his way on my card down the board a little bit. But yeah, those two, man, really good players, as solid as they come. So to get back on the DFS board at 8,900, I think Answer is a really good play in that range. And then you go down the 8Ks, your boy Sung Jae, I'm a fan of his this week at 8,800 and on the betting cards. And then near the bottom of the eights, I really like Grillo at 81 and English at 8K.
Now, if we're going in the nines, I do love Connor Zalatoris. I think somebody who Finau kind of almost reminds me a little bit of like the Finau, maybe in the sense of before the tournament got off, somebody who hadn't won in a while. Finau, granted, he kind of has a win, but not in a while. Just winning. I could see Finau winning the week before, odds going way up. Everyone's going to pay attention, and then he craps out next week. Like if it happens. But somebody who missed the cut last week, who I was high on, who I don't think he's going to do it 2 weeks in a row, Patrick Reed, 9,300. I think he had somebody. I just don't see him missing 2 cuts in a row. I just can't see it. And then if we're going to go down to the eights, I think somebody else, again, playing very well, Cameron Tringale, 8,400. And how about 33 years old on the tour, doesn't have a win yet, but has made $13 million on the tour.
Okay, he's like Charles Howell III, pretty much. I mean, Howell's won before. It's been a while, but yeah, man, there's nothing wrong with keeping your tour card every year, making $1 million and flying under the radar. Doesn't suck.
Exactly. Like he's comfortably getting his card. It's not like he's losing sleep. Like he's comfortably there. He's just not going to play in the big ass tournaments. Like he's got to do well at the end of the year, but he'll win one soon enough. He's playing very well. It's documented. He's my new guy. So, but Cam Tringale, 8,400. If we're going in the eights, that's somebody else. And Bubba's playing well too, 8,300. Wouldn't hate that pick either.
No, Bubba had been playing decent. He finished well at Zurich and decent showing last week too. I believe he finished inside the top 30. So can't really knock any of those calls by you. As you get down into the lower sevens, I like I mentioned, Russell Knox, 7,200. Cam Davis at 7,100. Another guy was, what have you done for me lately? He was, kind of an up-and-comer. Earlier this year, around the turn of the calendar year, had I think 3 or 4 top 30s and quietly making cuts. No one's really mentioned him too much. He hits the piss out of the ball, so he should figure well here. I do like him down at 7,100. And a guy with great course history here who I mentioned I got to watch play a few holes last week, made the cut, should be feeling good about things. Pat the Rat Perez at 7K. I think he makes a lot of sense as well if you're filling out a lineup.
I like the Cam Davis. Here's somebody else if we're going down the low sevens, and that's Ian Poulter, 7,300, 9 of 14. He had another showing, top 30 last week. I know that. He's been playing decently well. Sebastian Munoz, 13 to 18 cuts, 2 top 10s, 2,300. He's doing well, I think, right? I know he won the Safeway, I think it was not too long ago, but I feel like he's kind of gotten off a little bit. And then, here's Charles Schwartzel, 7,200. There's somebody who's in form right now. I think 7,200. That's you know what? Low pick, Schwartzel, 7,200. He's in form right now. Absolutely.
What are you going to go with for your lineup? You have the T, sir, since you won last week. Let's hear it.
All right. So my lineup this week, let me just pull this out real quick. I got it right over here. All right. So we are going to be going Corey Connors, Joaquin Niemann, Max Homa, Cameron Tringale, Carlos Ortiz, and Luke List. So I believe that's 4,900, 900, 49.9.
You're leaving 100 on the board. Okay. I am also leaving 100 on the board with my lineup. I am starting with Xander at 10.5. Like I mentioned, 3 weeks off since he played at the Masters, dunked one in the water on the 70th hole. His head's got to be feeling a little bit better after taking a few weeks off. He's been so close to the winner's circle. I believe 3 second-place finishes alone this year on tour. You're going to hear him on my betting card as well. So him at 10.5, Rory at 10, just based off the course history and how much further lower he's priced than the rest. Always has winning equity anytime he tees it up. Harris English at 8K. Russell Henley at 7,900, Vaughn Taylor at 6,800, and Sam Radadada at 6,700. That's the lineup for me going head to head with you this week. Good luck to you, sir.
Good luck to you as well, my friend.
And coming up next, we have a special interview with Ray Nettling, who is prominent in the golf scene out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Photographer, new golf bettor. Very excited to chat with Ray. All right, and now we are joined by our guest, my man Ray Nettling out in Scottsdale, Arizona, here to join the show, bless us with some picks this week as he is on a heater of none other and kind of let us know what he does in the golf industry, kind of a different, newer angle. And for you listeners out there that are, thinking of different ways to kind of participate in the golf industry and just, kind of make your way, Ray has a good story. So Ray, welcome to the show and appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate you all having me out. Good to see you again, Granj. Been a couple weeks. Hope you're fully recovered from that bender in Scottsdale. But no, I appreciate you having me on. Appreciate the introduction. New golf journey that I am on, like you had mentioned. It's kind of identify myself as a golf fraud, so to speak, only because it is very new to me and it's kind of spiraled in a good way. The last 8 months, kind of a hybrid golf aspect with photography, which I've been doing a little bit of the last few years, just kind of in my free time. And the last year over the pandemic has really given me an opportunity to broaden that and focus on it a little bit more, and getting the chance to partner with some cool brands such as Bad Birdie, PXG, very loose, nothing super serious, but a sales guy by trade, just trying to network, meet people, and have fun. So I don't really have any expectations as far as what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm mixing photography, which is also kind of spiraled into a little bit of golf gambling, like you had mentioned, and just getting lucky. But the biggest thing is I'm having fun with it all.
Yeah, man, it's a really good way to leave it. At the end of the day, it's about having fun. You obviously, if you could pay the bills by doing it, it doesn't hurt, but it's about enjoying it. And I know once upon a time you were a bigger golfer, not so much nowadays, but it just goes to show you can love the game and be involved and not have to be an everyday grinder working on the swing and going through the pains and the lulls that the rest of us do. I mean, that's how we met a couple weeks ago. I was on a trip with the boys to Scottsdale, and Ray took some photos and videos for us and hung out with the crew. And we got to shooting the shit. And you mentioned about how you got introduced to the gambling space when the tour was out at the TPC Scottsdale and the Waste Management in February. And you've been, for the people listening to the show that like to bet, I mean, this guy, I fancied myself on a crazy run last year, ran up some units for the show, was hitting winners, but this run is unbelievable. And if you check Ray out over on Instagram, he'll leave his handles before he follows. It's all legitimate too. He's got the documentation to back it up. But just tell us, I just loved how you got on Brooks Koepka that week. It was all feel, and that's all you need sometimes. So walk us through what happened. I know you were inside the ropes the day before the tournament, and the rest was history.
Yeah, so that statement of all feel is really how my gambling works. There is no metrics. There's no plug and play as far as who's going to spit out the best odds based off of different metrics that a lot of handicappers use. It's all kind of based off superstition and gut instinct. And to that point, my first true golf gambling experience was at the Waste Management Open, where I tried to finesse my way into some PGA media credentials, and I got as far as actually talking to the lady with PGA who approves the applications for photographers and videographers. And again, it kind of just stems from being a sales guy. I was able to locate her on LinkedIn, ended up like changing my signature in my official email signature to something a little bit more on the creative side. I'm in medical sales full time, but I wanted to sound a little bit more legitimate on the creative space. And so we got into an email exchange, explained to her what I was hoping to do. And she had told me that unfortunately, due to COVID, they had shrunk the amount of media passes that they were giving, but that for anybody who had a Wednesday GA ticket for the Pro-Am, they were allowed to bring out their camera. So I immediately bought a GA ticket for the Pro-Am. I think it was like $100, brought my camera out there, and then just started to kind of follow folks. And being a Koepka fan on 16, 17, and 18, I started to follow him. And he was paired up with Patrick Peterson, who at the time was, going to be a Pro Bowl corner for the Cardinals. Now he's going to be with the Vikings, but they were very loose. Brooks was having a good time. They're on the 18th tee box, kind of joking about their top 10 quarterbacks in the league. And as soon as they finished up on the 18th green and shook each other's hands, I was kind of standing in like the roped tunnel where they walked back into the locker room. And it sounds ridiculous, but like as a former athlete, I like saw this guy go into Mamba mode. I like felt it. So it was like, okay, we just had this fun afternoon. Now it's grind time and it's tournament time. And as a guy who had won the tournament before at, whatever the odds were, I didn't know. I was just like, I liked his chances. He was the only guy that I saw not stop and take photos with anybody, not from a disrespectful aspect. It was just that the guy was dialed in. So he immediately went to the driving range where pretty much everybody else was still pretty loose, which I get. But I immediately texted my buddy who runs a book and was like, hey, man, like, I don't care what the odds are. Give me $200 on Koepka to win the whole thing. And at 45-1 odds, it ended up hitting. He was 5 back going into the final round. And again, new to the golf gambling scene, I still felt pretty confident. I mean, 5's pretty big going.
You're in the hunt, though. You want to sweat on Sunday. You're in the hunt,
right? And then he ended up eagling 16 to basically like finish the whole thing, and it was just pretty surreal.
Super Bowl Sunday too.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it's a fun weekend out here in Scottsdale for sure.
So somebody who's been
first time.
So I was on Brooks that week strictly because the number was too high for what he normally is. So what a perfect storm for you. You saw all this stuff. And if he was 20-1, you still would have bet it and felt great about it. But the fact that you got him at the highest odds you will probably ever see Brooks Koepka again is just like fate. And then, after that, the heater is just insane. You hit Morikawa at the work day. I know you hit Leishman, Zurich. You hit JT at the Players. I'll let you tell the rest of it, but it's just been, it was what, 3 out of 4?
Yeah, it was 3 out of 4 in the month of February. So I missed the next weekend, still trying to figure this whole thing out and learn on the fly. Thankfully, a couple of my buddies, they're pretty avid golfers and they're pretty avid, just degenerate gamblers. And so I got the opportunity to kind of set up a weekly, just kind of pulse check with about 4 of us. And the following week was Pebble. And I picked Varner. He was the only guy that I rode with. I don't even know if he ended up making the cut or not. I think he did, but didn't end up like doing very well. And then we started to get kind of more serious about it the week of Homa's win down in LA, and as a hometown kid. And what we started to do is kind of pick 3 to 4, sometimes 5 guys to just kind of ride and play the odds. Hopefully one of them does real well. And Homa hit at 35-1. Then the weekend right after that, Morikawa hit at 40-1. And it's funny, that week, I think we picked, it was Morikawa, Sung JM,
Finn's boyfriend.
I think Cam Smith, and then the last one was Cantlay. And Cantlay ended up withdrawing, and one of our buddies, he's Asian, and for whatever reason he said, we have 2 Asians in the mix, and one of them is going to win. So we made a group decision to take the $100 that we had put on Cantlay, split it in half between Morikawa and Sungjae, and Morikawa won at 40-1. So that was another big win for me. $6,000 I won on that one. Then the week following that, JT 19-1. And then we kind of had a lull for really the remainder of April into what was the win by the Aussies with Cam and Leishman. They hit at 10-1.
Because we were kicking it that Friday or Saturday, and they were like in the mix, but a few back. And I was like, it doesn't look like it. And I was hungover as shit traveling home from Scottsdale at the airport. I'm watching. I was like, oh shit, Ray has on this one too. Like, get the fuck out of here. Hit another one. So, and even last week, I mean, I was in the mix there with Homa. Unfortunately, he went backwards on Sunday, but you were on what? With Hoffman, Answer, and Im, all that were, in the thick of things. So even when you're not winning, you're around the top, which you have to do. You get on I'm sure you'll learn too. You'll get on the runs where you get, you have a Sunday sweat and you feel like you can't go wrong. You're winning. And then you get in a low where you have 3 or 4 times in 2 months where your guys are near the top and they don't win. So my advice is to ride the heater while you're on it, because that's insane stuff.
Yeah, and I have to give you guys kudos, credit where it's due. The only reason I even placed anything on Homa, which I didn't have him to win, I just threw a top 10 finish at plus 600, was because of the podcast that you guys put out the week of, and you guys are pretty strong on him. So I was like, why not? So I put $166 on him that cashed out at 996. So that was nice. And then we did.
Bad Birdie shirts are in the mail, Finn. They're on the way to us. I know.
Yeah, shoot me over your size. I got you guys covered.
You're on mute. I think you're on mute. You're back.
I'm back. Sorry.
All good.
Yeah, we had Homa, only because you guys at plus 600. So yeah, 166 to 996, and didn't have him outright, just top 10. And then we also were following really Answer, Im, and Hoffman, to your point. But for whatever reason, I was feeling real strong about Answer, so I also kind of doubled down with the top 5 and top 10 for him. And his top 5 was 6-1, so put 100 on that, so won 600. And then his top 10 was 3-1. I put 250 on that, so another 750. And that was pretty much all my wagers. So no outright, but still came out in the positive, which is great. And we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't typically do those top 5 and top 10s like that. It's pretty much just we pick 3 to 5 guys and we ride them all the way to hopefully be the outright winner. So maybe that's something I'll continue to do moving forward. But having fun. I mean, again, yeah, it's only been since February, and definitely playing with house money at this point.
I was gonna say, you got the bankroll built up at least for the rest of this year, if not the one after. So have some fun with it. And yeah, I was out there at the Valspar Sunday. I saw Abe birdie 1 and 2, and I was like, no way. If this dude comes from 5 back to win at whatever number you have him on, I'm just giving the show over to you and letting the picks rip. So. Have you done as the card been finalized? Finn, I think you're on some sort of mute, maybe the mic.
Oh, you're right. I was on.
There you go.
I was going to say, you might be the only person whose significant other encourages them to keep betting. Like, instead of being like, did you bet again? They're like, yo, did you bet? Get that damn pick in right now.
She's aware. I don't think she's fully aware. I'm sure she will be, after this, which is fine. But she's a great support system in a lot of different ways. So, yeah, she's not super educated on golf as a whole, but she likes what I'm doing. She sees I'm having fun, and
all that matters.
She has an extensive lifestyle. So
whenever you got to save her to do the outright for whenever you're in a cold streak, because it's just like Vegas. Like if you ever do craps, give the girl the dice the first time, goes on a heater. So just keep her in the back pocket if she hasn't done a pick yet.
Oh, it's funny going back to like just my my style, and which again, there isn't really a style. It's a lot of luck and a lot of feel. The only reason I put, money on JT that week when he won was because we were at a wedding in Alabama, and my girlfriend's from Alabama. I was like, oh, I got to ride that juju. So it ended up working out.
Roll Tide. Boom. That is JT. Well, have you picked the card yet for this week? You still in the works, or, we're not going to hold you to it, but if you want to bless the listeners with an outright, we would love it.
Yeah. So I've looked at it. I haven't made any for sure decisions, but I've narrowed it down to a few guys that I at least have my eye on. As outrights, as well as I like a couple guys at maybe a top 20, top 10, only because of juju and energy. But
whatever works.
Yeah, the first guy I'm liking, although he ended up missing the cut last week, is Grillo. I think he's 7+7.
He's 70-1, right?
Yeah, is what I got him in at. Haven't fully placed it in winner, locked it in. I got to ride with my guy, Harold Varner again, ECU guy playing in the backyard. I got to imagine he's played there a ton. He hasn't had a great history based off of what I've read, but his last time out finished number 2. I think it's only a matter of time until he gets his big victory. So I like the familiarity there. I like being an ECU guy playing in Carolina. I like that juju, how it lines up. I also like Joaquin Neiman a lot. I think he's right now 40-1. Strong irons guy. He's driving it just as far as DJ right now, and he's just a little dude. What I was reading is that's a big necessity this week is strokes gained off the tee. So I'm learning about all these different statistics that are important on the way, or on the way as I'm teaching myself all this. But I do like him to do well. I also really like Tony Finau this week as a long driver. He's due. I notice on social media he's been pretty quiet, and all of a sudden today he posted a slow-mo of him on the tee box, and I think he might be feeling himself a little bit. So I like Tony to do well this week as well.
We're big Tone fans on this podcast. I don't knock him too much for never winning. I've lost plenty of outright bets on him this year, but I'll keep riding with him because that number is too good every week for somebody who's always in the mix. 29, right. 30, 35, whatever it is.
Just a really good dude too.
Yeah, I was trying to say before, when I had my mic on, if you want a fun time, I'm doing it this week. I got 6 bets on this. So your guy Grillo, top 20 after the first round odds on FanDuel right now, if you can get on there somehow. But Christoph Ventura, 10-1 top 20 first round. Just first round. Peter Molinari, 9 plus 950 first round. Joel Damon, who came in second place last time this tournament played, top 20 first round, plus 460. And then my last little tidbit is Corey Connors was my dude. He's starting to get a little too mainstream. Before that, it was Zalatoris. Now everyone knows about him. But my next guy who I think is going to get on the train for top 20s, because he does hit top 20s, Akshay Bihati. He is my dude right now. Great college guy. He's going to be a top 20 this week, but Akshay Bihati, I'm telling you, get on the train before the price goes too low.
Yeah, my group, you mentioned Willie Z, and that group that I mentioned, shout out to the golf handicappers out here in Scottsdale. We've been high on Willie. We had number 2. He finished number 2 at the Masters. We had him as one of our guys, and unfortunately he wasn't able to pull it off. But we do, I like Will too. You talk about proximity. The guy went to freaking Wake Forest, right down the way from Charlotte. It's
You're speaking my language here. The listeners, after this section, when we get to the betting card and the one and done, I'm a Willie Z guy this week for many of the same reasons as you. So hopefully that gets it done.
Welcome,
for everybody.
guys. Welcome.
Well, you're gonna have to drop. The Instagram is what? Just at Ray Nettling.
Yeah, it's just at Ray_Nettling. That's definitely where I'm most active. I post, my photos, videos, things of, the trips, such as the group of you guys. Just having fun on there. I'm pretty brand agnostic. Shout out Cactus Hack, local brand out here. It's gaining some traction with the likes of a guy, DJ Lance, who's deep in the social scene of the golf world, as well as his partners, Cody Alt, as well as Johnny Manziel he's an investor there too. So shout out to those guys, as well as the Devereaux guys, local brand here in Scottsdale. Just kind of to your point, just kind of changing up the stuffiness that is the golf world and getting a little bit more street style and having fun. And that's what you said, it's all about having fun and kind of mixing it up as golf's reaching a broader audience, and it's a cool space to be in. Not that I'm fully in it, again, I brand myself as a fraud, but having fun.
No, I gotta ask before we get, because the whole the video, I watched everything you do. It's absolutely incredible, the work, everything, and I'm fascinated. I have a drone that I started to try to fly, and I suck at it, and I love taking pictures. I'm learning Adobe, how to do any sort of video editing. I used to be a little bit good at it, and I think that too many upgrades that I'm still trying to figure out all the keys and everything. But what got you? And you said medical sales, like, so at least now if you're out there, you're filming some of these older guys, you can sell them maybe like a pacemaker or something like that. So it works out, maybe like double dip a little bit. But like, what got you into the videography? Because you're incredible. What you do is great.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm self-taught. It's very new, honestly. So I was living in LA before moving out to Scottsdale. I was covering California, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. And so I bought a nice camera. I bought the drone because I was going to all these places I had never been. And I do my, medical sales thing during the day, do my meetings, etc. And then towards the end of the afternoon, I'd go out and kind of explore and just kind of mess around. And then we go on trips as like buddies, and I'd document those. And last summer in the 4th of July, we went to Tahoe, and I know this was very hard for some of them to admit, but they were like, Ray, that you should really try and monetize this. Like, you have fun with it. You're good at it. I guess I'm dangerous enough. I'm still learning on the fly, teaching myself YouTube, teaching myself Premiere and all the Adobe suite. It's tough, but you got to just get out and practice. And because, again, the situation of COVID last year, I couldn't really do my medical sales thing full time. Thankfully, my employer, no layoffs, kept us all employed. Very realistic of the world and how limited we were as far as access. And golf is probably one of the few industries that has thrived over the last year. And being in, the Mecca, what I would consider the Mecca of golf, probably second only to Florida, I just kind of have had this opportunity spiral. So a good buddy of mine, he started this golf league just in COVID, a handful of them, and he saw what I was doing and said, "Hey man, would you be down to like get us some content for our league?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So went out, got photos, a couple videos, and then it just kind of spiraled. I'm pretty shameless about tagging brands just to see what happens. You never know. And next thing you know, I'm out at Scottsdale National filming some NFL players and modeling for Bad Birdie and getting discount codes with brands such as Devereaux, and it's been cool. But again, I have no expectations. I don't know where it's going to go, if anywhere. But in the meantime, I'm having fun, enjoying the gambling aspect as long as I stay in the green, and we'll see what happens.
Dude, I got to recommend. I mean, I talked up Scottsdale at length last week. A lot of our listeners are East Coast based, and Scottsdale's the place. If you're going to go on a guy's golf trip, don't think any further than that. I'm sure you could sell it way better than I can. But if you do, and you go with a large enough group and you because you want photos, you want videos, you say you're going to take them, but then you're out there and you forget to do that. The sun, the drinking, everything. So getting a guy like Ray, very affordable, very cost effective. He'll kick it with you. I'm stoked to see some of those videos when they come out. I love when you put the drone I swear, Finn, he puts the drone like right in front of your driver head, a few feet up, and everyone's just thinking, "Oh my God, I'm going to hit it." And like usually spray it left or right. I hit a pretty good one, so I'm pretty stoked to see it. But still, you said to this day, no one's broken the drone yet. And
I was just about to ask, anything break?
No, not yet. I mean, the only time that I've broken a drone, which I've broken a couple of them, which anyone who's thinking about getting a drone, I highly recommend getting the insurance because you will crash it.
I started with the cheap ones. I've crashed too.
Yeah. So no, it's really about just, if I were to offer you some advice, Finn, or anyone that's trying to get more on the creative side, whether it's just photography or dronography or whatever, just getting out, having fun and practicing. And that's really all it is. I mean, I have a long way to go, but I think that I'm dangerous enough from a golf aspect, having grown up in the industry, and then dangerous enough on the other side as like a creator, where I have this unique ability to kind of be different within the golf industry specifically. I'm not a photographer, I'm not a golfer, but I know enough on each side to just kind of be different, I think.
Love that. Now I got to ask, because I know for me, I would almost be terrified. I would love to have the videos for every good shot I had. I would just be more afraid of like the things you caught me saying. So you must have some good blackmail on some people from time to time. Be like, they give you any lip, like, dude, I will make this go public, and good luck for anything, because I'm in trouble.
No, you obviously got to like trust who you're working with. And Granj, I appreciate the compliments. I'm guy's guy, just down to kick it with everybody. I know the boundaries, and you know, I would never make anyone out in a bad light, even, you know, showing negative or terrible shots, right? Like you won't see anybody with bad shots in the edit I put together for Granj's group, which, trust me, there were a few.
Oh yeah, we have a wide range of players. The drinks were definitely going, especially Saturday. People were a little tired. Ray kicked it with the crew too, so we saw how everyone partied, and it was a good old time. But no, for sure, all good vibes.
I'm a big advocate for people coming to Scottsdale. The place is absolutely blowing up. I mean, I'm an Arizona native, but haven't lived here for like 8 or 9 years, and coming back, I'm just amazed, and it really has everything you need. Man, we don't have the beach, but quick hour flight and you're in San Diego, about a 3.5-4 hour drive, and you're down in Mexico on the water. So it's a great place to be. So we really enjoyed it.
My one lone memory of Arizona was my brother was getting recruited by both. I'm trying to remember which one we were driving to, if it was State or with the Wildcats, but nonetheless, we were driving in the car and the roads were so hot that the tire exploded. Just like straight blew up, and that's we won. Oh, it was San Diego State, I think, because they had the aluminum seats that the Cardinals, I think, used to play at. And these fucking seats are 500 fucking degrees. I was like, so that was the end of the Arizona. But I grew up in Orange County, California, so that's why when you said LA, I was like, all right. So I was a little too pampered for that kind of heat, but I'm smelling a golf trip out there for Tail and Print to get something going. I think we might have to pull the trigger before little baby Finn makes his entrance into the world in September.
You tell me when, sir. I'm there. I don't need any excuse to go back there. I loved it. The golf, the ambiance, all of it. I just need to get that same Airbnb as last time, Finn. If you want to start hitting some winners, maybe we can afford that one again.
My Dogecoin after today, I guess. I can get a couple of those houses.
There you go.
Speaking of like,
it's a nice thing to forget you got a while ago.
Yeah, speaking of Juju, we're big on anytime there's a Doge pump during the week, we know it's going to be a good gambling week. So I'm feeling good.
All right, we're on the Doge train. I love.
So remind me, you're on Neiman, Grillo. Well, the short list: Neiman, Grillo, Varner, Willie Z, and was one more. Was that it? And Finau.
And I got all of them in my card this week.
Yep. And then the
last, you're screwed now.
Yeah, the last.
you're screwed.
Again, we only typically do like 4 or 5 guys, so I'm gonna have to narrow this down at some point. But I do like. I do like Wyndham Clark for a top 20, only because I met his brother out at Maya in Scottsdale, and we kind of hit it off. And so riding that good waves of energy that the universe gives me, and hope he does well. And then I got to ride with my boy Answer again for at least the top 10. It's Cinco de Mayo week. Got to give shout out to, the Mexican brother out there. Hopefully he has a good week too, but I will have to works though.
I'm sorry, but that works because last year when they did the players, when Rory won, I picked him strictly because St. Patrick's Day and he won. So that works.
Yeah. So like I said, there's no method to the madness. It's all about riding the waves of energy that the universe throws our way, and we'll see what happens.
The answer.
I love it, though. Thank you for joining us. You mentioned at Ray_Nettling on Instagram. We'll tag you in the show notes. We'll pump it out there on social this week as well. And you'll have to keep in touch with us. And if you win this week, you're coming back next week. We're leaving it at that. So let's start another heater.
As often as you guys have me or want to have me, I'm glad to chop it up with you boys. But definitely send me your addresses. And polo sizes, we'll get you linked up with some brand, whether it's Bad Birdie, Devereaux, somebody. Appreciate you guys having me out, and thanks for that Homa call again last week.
My pleasure, my man. You're too good to us. Take care of yourself and be well. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, right. Thanks for coming on, and you're going to regret the asking whenever we want idea, but we appreciate it.
All right, fellas. Take care.
Be well. All right, thanks, Ray. Much appreciated. We will definitely be connecting again in the near future. Appreciate all the time from him. Guys, go throw him a follow on Instagram. And with that, we're going to get right into our betting cards.
Show me who's sticking you. Give me the loop. Give me the loop. Give me the loop. Give me the loop.
righty. Starting my card, -3 units last week. Unfortunately, Max Homa went in reverse Sunday. Charlie Hoffman, who I had for a top 10 and an outright, also had a bad weekend. So no dice. Kevin Chappell was on the card. He withdrew, saved me half a unit. So -3 units on the week. Still a comfortable plus 27.85 units on the season. Got a little bit of a lengthier card this week. I have 4 first-round leaders. These are each 0.1 units each. I feel like we're due for a first-round leader. I have Sam Ryder and Mark Hubbard at 120-1, Brendan Steele at 85-1, and Emiliano Grillo at 60-1. Those are my first-round leaders for 0.1 units. I have 2 head-to-heads for the week, each 1 full unit. I have Sung Jae over Joaquin Neiman at -105, and I have Grillo over Shane Lowry at -115.
Ooh, I dig that. So I got 5 prop bets this week. Mixing it up, I'm going to do some prop bets. Got 2 top 20s, and then how many outrights? Well, I had 4. Now it's going to be 5 after our bit with Ray. So I found on FanDuel, they have day 1 top 20s, as we discussed with Ray. So I got 5 of these guys right now.
Like those
top
bets.
20 after day 1. All right. So I got Joel Damon, again, somebody who came in second last time this was played. He's plus 460 to be in the top 20 after the first day. Cameron Tringale, plus 320, top 20 after day 1. Peter Malnati, plus 950, top 20 after the first round. These 2 I love. Christopher Ventura, my man, 10-1 odds, top 20 after day 1. There's somebody who was in the mix recently with Zurich. I think he came back. Did he play the week after? I think he had a good first round and then fell off. I think he played last weekend. I can't remember, but maybe I'm just thinking of that. But then Ryan Armour, someone who's been playing pretty well of late too, 10-1 to finish in the top 20 after the first round. That one, I love that. Ryan Armour, 10-1, top 20 after the first round. Give it to me. That's the one. Like, people, if you really want to get on that one, 10-1, throw a couple like pizza money or McDonald's money. Don't get fat. Just put a couple bucks on Ryan Armour top 20 after round 1.
Dude, I love the top 20 after round 1 bets. That's a new thing.
I'm gonna lose so much money.
It shows just how, how many different ways there are to bet golf compared to other sports. Not only will the live betting every hole between groups eventually be here, the fact that you could bet after round 1, you can bet, round 3 balls, you can bet pretty much anything with golf. It's amazing. So I'm with you. I'll be dumping as soon as FanDuel is legal down here in Florida, just to get these kind of bets. I'll be dumping a few dollars here and there all the time. And I like you, man. You can have your money stacked up Thursday. You don't have to wait through the weekend. Just win some early Thursday money and take advantage of those the top 20 ones.
Well, then I will have the Sunday sweat. I did that one this Sunday. That's one that's going to be coming every Sunday, and I'm going to be trying to throw out. Now, the odds were a little – I messed up. I did things a little too early, so I took the second round for the top 20s, which is unfortunate because I would have made money back on the top 20 bets, but we won't count anything like that since it didn't get added in. Only 2 of the bets got added, so I won't hold it against it. But I will have makeup bets for – Sundays because Dimers has the live bets. So do not fear in case our cards go awry. We will try to help you out with a few extra tidbits to get things going. Like Sam Burns was still 2.5-1 on Sunday. So if you were falling behind, you put $50 on Sam Burns, guess what? You're getting like 125 back. So 2.5, just think about it like that. It might be it's just one day. So who cares? It's just watching an NFL game. 250, that's like kind of a normal betting odds for NFL for like underdogs, 250. So not a bad thing.
Not at all, dude. Not at all. It's like you mentioned, you're not out of it even if you go south on Thursday. There's more rounds to make it back. So those I gave you my first round leaders and my head-to-heads. I have 2 top 20s. These are each half a unit. I have Vaughn Taylor plus 600. That's half a unit to win 3. I mentioned Vaughn. I just got to see him play on Sunday. It was impressive. Very methodical about his approach, and he's a guy who wants all the FedEx Cup points he can get. So if he's near that top 20 Sunday, you best believe he'll be grinding to move every inch up the leaderboard he can. And the other guy who I have not only for a top 20 at plus 850, but I have him at plus 1600 for a top 10. That's going to be a quarter unit to win 4. The top 20 will be half a unit to win 4.25. And that is Sam Ryder. Yes, believe it or not, he found his way onto my card in my mixed condition model. He just popped pretty much in in every category. So he's a dude a little bit on the younger side, doesn't have too much experience or success on tour, but he has done a good job of making cuts of late and hits the golf ball a really long way. So I am very excited to have both of those numbers on Ryder this week. Dimers only gives it, a 2.7% chance for the top 10, but a 7.7% chance for the top 20. So I like that they like that. He came in second at the Corrales Punta Cana, and then an 8th at the Honda Classic a week prior. So he can definitely find his way up the leaderboard. So those are my 2 plays on Ryder. My other top 10 at plus 700. I just think this number is way too high. This guy actually topped the charts in my mixed condition model. Russell Henley, plus 700 for a top 10, half a unit. Dimers gives that one a nice 14.1% chance. So we are in somewhat of agreement there. How about you? What do you got for 20s and 10s?
I got 3 20s and that's it. I just added one on actually because I kind of like this guy and I went on to Dimers. I was checking out who their best bets were and he was on there, so I'm taking it. And there's another guy I might sneak in there. Dimers. Damn you, Dimers.
Not so
but
fast.
They're gonna help me out though. It's gonna work out in the end. All right. So my top 20s as of now, I got Joel Damon plus 410, 10.3% according to Dimers for that one. Taylor Gooch. This was the new added one. Gucci Gang just got added in there. He is a best value at dimers.com. They like him at the plus 450, 23.7% chance to get that top 20 finish for us. And then somebody who I like, I mentioned to Ray, Akshay Biati. He is my guy. I have talked about him numerous times, so I hope he blows up. So again, like Zalatoris, I can say a toe so months ago. He's plus 1,000, so 10-1 to finish in the top 20. Dimers is actually giving him a 2.5% chance, which normally guys like this, they are like 0.6. So that actually gave me hope. I'm not going to lie. I know it's not a lot, but it's almost like the Dumb and Dumber. So you're telling me there's a chance. All right, that's all I need. And Bihati, he can hit it. He's a little twig, but he can hit it.
So those are your 3 top 20s. What about
your
outrights? Lay them on me.
All right, so I have now 5 outrights I have added to the card since this show has started. So thank you, Ray. Thank you, Dimers. Much appreciated, everybody, for the support. So my 5 outrights this week, I got Xander at 20-1. Dimers gives him a 7.6% chance, which I believe is second this week. I'll pull that up in half a second. And then Tony Finau, 29-1. Dimers gives him a 4.5% chance. Again, one of the top percentages to win this week. Will Zalatoris, 30-1, 1.8%. I'm just not going to miss the time that he wins. I've been on him for too long. I'm going to ride it out. He's basically like my new Dogecoin. I brought it up 1,000 times. I'm just going to keep putting money into it, and eventually it's going to pay me back. Like, Doge has already paid me back a shit ton, but nonetheless. Corey Connors, 33-1. Dimers, 4.3% chance. They love this man. I love this man. So much love going around. Xander, Tony, and Corey are all best value bets too, by the way, at dimers.com. And then, of course, after I got to throw Abe Answer in there, 36-1, 2.9% chance at dimers.com. That is my outrights.
Okay. We are in agreement with Xander Schauffele. I have a full unit on Xander to win at 19-1. You mentioned Dimers loves him this week, gives him over 7% chance of winning. Xander's not like Tony for me, where I'm worried about him actually winning. Xander has won. And it's not nerves. It's just he's super candid with what he does. He makes some mistakes here or there. He's a guy that plays for the win always, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. So I really think that these losses eat at him too. I know it drives him to be better, and he is probably the most well-rounded player in the world right now. He really does. He checks the boxes in every category, and this course demands it. Quail Hollow, you have to do everything well to win, and I think just where he's been at, he's so due for a win, and I love it this week. I had written down Willie Z for my one and done coming into this week, but I'm actually going to go with Xander for my one and done. I wanted to save him for a major, but I really feel strongly about him winning this week. And I like that the number's 19. He definitely should be priced lower than Victor and Rory. He probably should be priced right with Bryson at 15. So you're getting a few extra points there with Xander. So that is my one and done play for the week and my big outright for a full unit. Only have 2 other outrights. I have your Panda Bear Sung Jae at 36-1 for half a unit to win 18. He has been awesome with his long irons. The Sungjae that you know and love. He's 4th in this field in proximity 200 plus over his last 36 rounds. It is the wedges and short irons where he's been off, and it's only a matter of time till those come back and click. This course, as you could expect, being so long, the majority of approach shots come from that 200 plus bucket. So I think he's going to factor in well. 36 to 1 is a good price on him. That's half a unit to win 18. And then I have Harris English at 80 to 1, a quarter unit to win 20. Another guy whose approach numbers and iron numbers just pop off the charts this week. He's been a little cool since he's won out in Hawaii, but that number's getting to the point where it's a must play for me. He was down to 25 or 30 range for a while. So he's back to 80, strictly a numbers play, quarter unit there. Those are my 3 outrights. I will obviously tweet out the entire betting card on Wednesday to the Twitter sphere at Tail and Print. We do have the Twitch stream going. We have the YouTube page you set up. We're very excited to get those rolling. Not quite ready to do a live show yet, but some point in the near future, perhaps the PGA Championship, maybe Friday afternoon PGA Championship. We get on here for a little cut sweat action, just do some live feedback. So I think we can make that happen depending on our schedules, but long show this week. Yeah, we definitely should make it happen. I'm excited, man. Major's only 2 weeks around the corner. Good show this week. Appreciate our boy Ray for joining. We'll definitely have him back on the pod. Again, follow him over on Instagram. And if you're in that Scottsdale area, definitely hit him up. He's very well connected in the area. And if you want some good photos, not taken by, really drunk people in your group, but more of a professional photographer, worth every penny. That's all I got for this week, man. I'm going to enjoy some golf, hang out with the pup. The weather's getting warmer here in Florida. You send us out of here on a high note.
All right, everyone, enjoy your weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there this weekend. Ladies, thank you for dropping us off at the courses. Thank you for being there whenever we had our bad rounds when we were kids, and you always talked us up. You always had our back. Granj, your mom probably did tell you if you were playing bad, though. I will.
Sure. Never. Still does, man. That doesn't leave. She
still does. But moms, to all the moms out there, thank you so much. Guys, if you have to take a Sunday off, it's okay to take this Sunday off from golfing, all right? Unless you get the okay, pamper her. It will go a long way. We're early on in the season. Get it out of the way to get more Sundays. Unless you go really, really early, then you're okay. All right, but happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Have a good weekend. May all your bets come true. Later.
Well said. Later.